Daisy, what's the message been to the playing group ahead of the Giants game this weekend after the performance against Brisbane?
Yeah, another really good opportunity to keep developing, and Brisbane exposed a few things in our game that we need to keep working on. The Giants will try and shift the ball and possess the ball, take the ball off the line like the Lions were able to do and go around us. We've done a lot of work this week on making sure that we maintain our shape around the ground so that teams can't do that. So it's awesome that we get another opportunity to practice it against a side that will try and do a similar thing.
How's the group holding up? 4 games in 17 days. How do you see, this is I guess a question for both of you, how do you see the load of games in such a short period of time and how the players holding up?
Me or? I'll defer to the player. How are you holding up, Swan?
Well, we all just love playing, so playing games is great. We love playing. It was really good to spend a week on the road and get 2 of the games done without having to travel backwards and forward. I think the club did a really good job organising that. And then most of the focus has been on recovery. So those like me who really love training probably haven't had as much of a good time. But I think the balance that we've had with our S&C and medical staff between balancing recovery and playing, I think we did pretty well. And to have a 6-day break now to go into the Giants is nice as well.
And from a coaching point of view, Daisy, when you're trying to address things, when you've only got short breaks, does it make life difficult for you?
It did in the condensed period, and we just had to be really quick with our turnaround in terms of reviewing game and maybe doing a bit more tape-based education rather than going out and practically doing it. But the beauty of this week, a bit more air in the week so that we could actually practice some things. So overall, though, the energy's been great. Like the appetite for the girls to want to come in and learn and keep developing has been good, and I could say that after our Melbourne trip, but then similar this week, which was impressive off the back of the loss, that not much changes in terms of how we approach the week. We're in this game to keep improving and keep going after parts of our game that we want to make more consistent, and we got some of those after the Melbourne trip where we were able to pick up 2 wins, and we got a few this week after the loss to the Lions. So having a bit more time in the week, we could do the doing a bit more, which was handy.
Daisy, 12 players on the injury list. How, I guess, hard is that to manage as a coach? It's a challenge, but it's an opportunity too, because we're getting to see our entire list in different roles. So that exposure to a deep number in our list is a positive. Would we like full availability? Of course, but it's just part of the nature of the game. Some of the injuries we've got have been disappointing because they're just, impact injuries. Couple of fractures and concussions have been, not ideal, but there's not a real pattern to the ones we're having. So we just got to keep trying to develop the players that we've got out there and have full confidence that the side we'll name later this week will be a really competitive team that can go after the Giants. I was going to say a couple of the girls were listed as a test to play. Do you know if any of those? Yeah,
Abby Bushby and Roxy Rue got through training, full training, so they'll probably be added into our squad. We've got match committee after this, so but I suspect they'll get added into our extended squad. And Sasha Goranova will go close as well, which is exciting. It's good to get a couple coming back.
Back to adding players, like how hard is that for training? Are you allowed to invite, top-up players to come and join you? But then how does that hamstring you when you've got to book flights to go away? Like how do you book flights, or how many players are you going to take away with you this week?
We take 22, so 1 travelling emergency. And we've got train-on players, so we've had up to 10 train-on players be part of our program at different stages, some more consistently than others, but today we had 4 train-ons come in and train with us. So it's a good opportunity for them to continue to develop and get exposure to the AFLW environment, a good way to keep developing, the talent within the state. And then, should we need to call on them, we've got the opportunity to do that. So it does help in terms of adding to training numbers so that you can get a few more drills going. It's something that I think a lot of clubs are having challenges with, and I'm sure everyone at AFL's it'll be high on their list of things they're discussing in terms of what the right number is as well.
Yeah, I mean, yourself and Melbourne have all fallen below the 24-player squad minimum.
Mm-hmm.
there's been just some discussion around whether it's time to increase list sizes. Where do you sit on that? Have you given it much thought?
Yeah, I think I answered a similar question last week about that. I think, a couple more numbers would probably be about right, because even if it's not in response to necessarily condensed fixturing or a massive injury list, is that even if you've got your full available squad, you can't play match practice because you don't have enough numbers. So, if you think of the men's list size being above 40 for an 18v18 game, in ours, even if you've got every single player available, not a single injury, you can't play 16v16. So, yeah, I don't know if that's a good way of looking at it, but that's where my mind goes. And then you add in the 3 or 4 injuries that you're usually carrying at any given time, regardless of the special circumstance of condensed fixturing. My view is a couple more would be handy. And I think for the overall development of the game as well, rather than it be ad hoc opportunities for 2 or 3 more to come in, another couple being involved in a program like this would be good for the overall talent development of the game.
Talk about those train-on players. Have you been impressed with what they've been able to bring, and are you confident that the depth is now starting to get there throughout the talent pool, for those increased list sizes going forward?
Yeah, they've held their own. We've got a mixture of someone like Crystal Petrovsky, who's been on our list, and other AFLW lists as well. Experienced player who can come in and play in any position and add real depth to our squad. And then others that have impressed throughout the Waffle W season. They've all shown signs, and there's a reason why we picked them and we want them part of our program, is they've got something to offer, and we see the potential for them to keep developing. So, it's been good.
Swanee, a familiar side coming up against them this week. Elise Parker, Rebecca Beeson, how do you nullify those two who are doing so much for Giants at the moment?
Yeah, they're key ball winners in their midfield, which will be a massive test. I think Parks had a pretty quiet game last week. I know Parks pretty well. She tries not to have 2 quiet ones in a row, so she's definitely going to be someone that we have to watch. But I think across the whole ground, if we just bring our pressure, and as Dave said before, they sort of play a little bit like Brisbane, and we've been able to take some real key learnings from Sunday's game. So hopefully we can put them into practice on the weekend.
Yeah, does the result and I guess the start maybe change how you go about things? Brisbane said in press conference that you were looking to, nullify damaging players, but then went more to a one-on-one structure after half time. Is that something similar? Do you go after those 2 big players, or do you go straight to the one-on-ones?
Yeah, it's always a balance. Backing in your structure versus trying to take away the opposition's strength. So it'll be a big part of our conversation this afternoon. But I think, this week we'll probably have a few roles again. But beyond that, hold our structure. It's always a bit of a conversation. And then when the side changes drastically in terms of the personnel that you're playing with as well, sometimes you have to be a bit inventive with the roles that different players are playing. So we want to be adaptable and versatile and be able to have both up our sleeve to go to at any time. But we'll back in our system this week against the Giants and have a few plans for some of their really dangerous players as well.
Darling Goldsworthy, she's a cracker. Ella Roberts as well. When we think about the young talent and the exciting players that we've seen so far this season, what's it like playing with Ella, Swanee?
Yeah, it's awesome sometimes. I think we all say it, but sometimes you kind of sit back and watch her do something and you're like, geez, I didn't know people could do that. So, she brings a lot of talent and energy to the group, and the best thing about her at sort of her age and where we're at with our team is we're just asking her to go out and play footy, and that's what she's doing really, really well. And she's developing this real key hunger to get better and improve every week. And this year in particular, in the last couple of weeks, we've just seen her game get better and better, and really implementing stuff that she's learning and coming out and training it as well. So, her development's been huge in the last few weeks, and I love playing with her.
Andrew Dillon said 2025 potentially moving the season forward a little bit. I guess, what do you guys think is the ideal start date for AFLW? Is it pushing it back as early as July so you can have it in the men's bye week, or is it having it closer to where you started this season but not running into December too far? Yeah.
More games and growth is good, whichever way it grows, in my opinion. And then the start date, I don't have a strong view on it, but if it's shifting one way or another because it's growing in length, we're there.